Someone might decide, I don't know whether to go to Arise and Shine or any local homeopath that I know.
Yes.
Do you consider yourselves homeopaths or are you different to them? And if so, how so?
I'm a doctor of naturopath.
What's the difference?
I am not a homeopath. I'm a naturopath. So naturopath, I don't want to
label yourself.
I don't want to label myself, and I don't label other people. I just want to speak the reality of how we work. In our case, the way we are operating, we are looking at you holistically. Homeopathy, it looks especially at remedies. Like, for example, when you talk about homeopathic medicine, homeopathic medicine, so they do a lot of focusing on production of medicine, pills, natural pills, and all those things. So there's a way. In our case, we look at you holistically. So we don't want to give you only remedies, but we also want to assist you, to teach you, that's why we also do admissions and all that, people to come and visit the center and detox at the center and all those things. Homeopaths are more on the consulting. You go there, you say, I've got a headache, okay, I've got this that you can use, then they give you what you can use.
It sounds to me as if, so you want to teach people to manage their own health outside of you.
They need
whereas maybe the other system is not that different to, maybe how the pharmaceutical world might kind of work, where I've got a headache, so I'm going to take Panadol and then I'm going to be fine. You want to deal with the root causes completely and eradicate them as much as you possibly can.
Precisely.
Okay.
So we are very holistic in our approach. We look at your emotions, physical. We look at holistically, basically. So we want to make sure that you are okay in every aspect. We don't just want to give you remedies to take, but you need to be emotionally balanced. So that's why for us it is not easy for someone to just call us and say, hey, I've got a headache, what can I use? It's not easy for me. It's not easy for me to do that, because I need to check you, because I may give you something. Well, not every symptom that you're feeling is from the same root. So we need to check what is the root cause of that.
So my headaches might not be the same as someone else's headaches.
Someone else's headache might be as a result of something else. Someone else might have a headache. So we need to address the root cause of that.
That's lovely, because then it means that you are trying to help me not to be someone who learns to live with my headaches, but to completely get rid of them.
Exactly.
So I also like the fact that emotional well-being is important to you.
Extremely.
So I would assume that you don't know what a toxic work environment is like, because emotional intelligence is important, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about your team, the members that you have, and the different things that each person does to make sure then that this is a holistic, well-functioning system for every patient who comes into you.
Yes. Remember, when we are working with clients, I will be there. For example, in my case, I will be there as a doctor, of course, at the center. I study first the medical report of the client. We always appreciate medical reports that even comes from medical doctors, physicians, and all that, because that's one of the things we look at. Okay, this client has been diagnosed with A, this is what the client has been suffering with, and all that stuff. Then in my case, I will then design a protocol that is custom made for that client. Then my wife will come in as we call them the, what we call them, by the way, I'm forgetting the term that we're using now. Yeah, but
I was going to say therapist, but maybe there's more.
No, it's she's a therapist.
Yeah,
therapist. Yes.
Okay.
So she comes in as a therapist, and then she will be implementing the protocol that we have come up for the client. So making sure that whatever is in the protocol is followed to the dot. And then we will have another person who will be focusing in the kitchen, because the protocol will also have recommendations for what the client should be eating. So the chef in the kitchen will have to focus on what the client should be eating.
So each person's meal is kind of different?
Each person's meal, depending on the person's condition, it's going to be designed accordingly. remember, sometimes when we talk about plant-based, for example, not every plant-based meal is suitable for everybody. For example, if you're a diabetic person, there are certain fruits that you cannot be eating. So we look at all those things. This person is diabetic.
So not everything is healthy for you.
No, your condition determines. It's not about it's not healthy for you, but your condition determines what we need to do in order to take you out of this situation.
And then maybe you can go back to
then you
those
can go
things
back
later.
to those things after you have recovered nicely. But to speed up your recovery, there are certain things that you may need to avoid,
Wow.
even if they are plant-based, and even if whatever condition that you are talking about.
That's interesting. It makes sense. So that's why maybe sometimes even people who are vegetarian or vegan do get sick, because
Precisely.
we kind of use a one-size-fits-all system,
It is
but
not.
it doesn't work like that.
It is never a one-size-fits-all. Every person must be treated unique, and what is also important is to check which environment the person comes from, what kind of diet the person has been exposed to, and then you design everything around that to make sure that this person. There are certain few elements that will be standard for everybody. For example, when you talk about plant-based, it's standard. We want to take you to the plant-based. Well, that's when we talk about original medicine. We are talking about plant-based approach. That's what we are using. What God wanted us to eat from the Garden of Eden, and then how can we then work around that to make sure that your healing is set up.
All right.
Yes.
Tell me about something that I think is very important, and I don't know if there's enough of that, because I'm not sure if people find these services easily in particularly the religious settings. Counseling services where there's trauma perhaps, or
Yes.
maybe I've been assaulted, gender-based violence, whatever it is.
Yes.
Do you also cater for things like counseling? And if you do, which specific ones do you cater for, so that people know where to go to? Sometimes you do actually want a Christian counselor because you don't want to be hypnotized, because you don't know where to go.
Yes. What normally happens, because we are not specialists in everything.
Okay.
So what normally happens when there are certain services that we don't do, we will contract. For example, we'll contract a person who can do counseling on our behalf. Then that person will be doing it. Especially when you see that the client that we are working with is extremely emotionally stressed. Then we'll just consult, speak to a counselor to do that for us, because we are not good with everything. So, but we do identify the problem, and then we find someone who can assist that. Yes. So when it comes to depression and other things, it is not really our line at this stage, but we have people that are also doing the same medical missionary work that are specializing in that. So we'll speak to them. We've got a client here that would like to assist us with, especially when it comes to this aspect, and then they will assist us.
Okay. Outsourcing, I don't know if that increases the fee payments that people have to make. Because when I come to you, I have to pay you.
Yes.
How are the fee structures in comparison to, what you would pay on medical aid? Do you have a medical aid kind of system as well? So I just want you to speak on how feasible it is financially for someone to use alternative medicine as a means of healing.
Yes, the biggest challenge that we have at this stage is that in our case, we don't have medical aid. We don't use medical aid.
Would you like to in the long run?
It would be nice to, because a lot of people they want to have access to our services, but they sometimes, because of the fees, they are not able to pay and all that. But they would love to. But in some instances, there will be certain people that when we give them the invoice, then they will submit to their medical aid. So, and the medical aid may understand and say, you know what, we pay you back your money for the service that you have collected from this institution. So, but we don't have a direct connection ourselves with the medical aid. But yes, we would love to get that support, because there are a lot of people that have really benefited from the services.
Is it expensive to try and transform your life as someone who has been living?
So there's no out of the world expenditure that we will incur. But also, I always say to people, you know what? If you think changing your lifestyle is expensive, try getting sick, and then you will see how expensive it can be when you are sick. Yeah. So it's better to do the best with what you have, and then you will benefit. You will reap very, very well from that.
Yeah. Prospects for 2023, because it's a new year soon, and I'm sure that you have some plans for next year. So what are those?
Next year, I would say to the viewers, we have great plans. We are expanding, and we're also expanding even our protocols. We are expanding even our methodologies for assisting people with sicknesses and disease. Our equipment, diagnostic tools and all that, if I may use, they are really expanding. So I would say we want to be a one-stop shop, where we can be able to assist you with anything that you want to be assisted with when it comes to your health. And I must say that we wish and we would love also to get support from the medical fraternity, like your doctors, because I believe that we cannot do this without the support of the medical fraternity. There's a lot that we gather from them, there's a lot that we learn from them, and we just wish and pray that we'll be able to work together. Yes.
Indeed. How do people then get a hold of you? For now, just share with us, how they can get access to your services. One-stop shop. What do you have already that people can get access to already now?
Okay.
Soma now.
All right. If you want to contact us, you can contact us by email at info@ariseshrinelifestyle.com. That's one word. info@ariseshrinelifestyle.com. Or you can contact me directly at 083-409-5845. 083-409-5845. That number is also available on WhatsApp. We have a website which is www.ariseshrinelifestyle.com. On that website, there is an icon that you can also punch that will lead you to bookings, where you can also make a booking online. So there are many things that we can do. If you want to know our services, I would advise you to come, and then we will rather talk when you come to the center. Okay. You will see more when you get to the center.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Dr. Vusi, for joining us for this session. And I hope that you have learned a great deal and you will be able to make use of the services provided, given the information that you learned about today. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode.
Thank you.